a major supplier of global LNG, and rank among the top 5 exporters with a production of 22 million tons of LNG and natural gas liquids from our 6-train plant complex on Bonny Island in Rivers State, Nigeria. We achieved global reach, establishing 2 subsidiaries, Bonny Gas Transport, BGT Limited, which owns and charters 13 of the 23 ships that transverse the globe to deliver LNG cargoes, and the NLNG Ship Management Limited, NSML, to manage the crews on board the LNG vessels. The result? A dramatic reduction of Nigeria's gas flare status from 65% when the company started operations to less than 20% today. With this growth came Nigerianization, a rapid boost to Nigerian skills and world-class engineering training capacity. Today, the company has 100% Nigerian management team and 95% Nigerian employees who operate the plant with the highest value for safety. With 22 million tons of production, Nigeria LNG has generated revenues of over $100 billion to date, returning more than $15 billion to stakeholders in dividends and contributing an excess of $6.5 billion in taxes to the nation since we started operations, allowing us to participate actively in national investment. We are and will continue to be part of Nigeria's future. We continue to pursue our passion for community development, investing significantly in infrastructure development with plans to co-finance a 120 billion naira Bonny-Bodo Road project to connect Bonny Island to the mainland, representing the highest single investment ever on a CSR project in the country. This project will offer great relief to riverine dwellers in that area of the Niger Delta, turning the island into an investor and tourist haven. We established the Bonny Utilities Company, BUC, to ensure uninterrupted electric power supply, as well as potable water to the community, and the Bonny Community Health Insurance Scheme to guarantee access to healthcare for the people. We will sustain skills development through our 3-tier scholarship scheme, as well as the London City and Guilds Certified Bonny Vocational Centre, to train technicians and meet the manpower needs of the industry. We are committed to achieving Goal Zero, not just in our carbon emission through our operations, but also our safety records, remaining a force for good as we look to ramp up LPG supply to the domestic market, with our commitment of 350,000 tons per annum, further reducing the adverse impact of other hazardous fuels on humans and the environment. Today, with Train 7 on the horizon, we are excited about the opportunity to increase production capacity by 35%, and with this, create brighter futures for the growing population, contributing to education, research, infrastructural development, transformation of the communities in which we operate, maintaining our position as a top 5 exporter of LNG, and delivering cleaner, sustainable energy to the country better and faster than before. As the world demands more energy, but with less carbon emissions, natural gas has a major part to play. It is the smart partner to renewables. The future is exciting. The future is gas. It's time for gas, and it's our time to shine.
Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining this virtual book party with the past winners of the Nigeria Prize for Literature since inception. This virtual book party is co-hosted by Nigeria LNG Limited and the Committee for Relevant Arts, CORA. My name is Yemi Adeyemi, and I'll be your anchor for this party today. Just before we start, I would like us to know that safety is very important to Nigeria LNG and of course to CORA. So we'd like you all to note the safety protocol at any point where you're joining from. We also like to remind you that the COVID pandemic is still very much here with us. It's not yet over. Please wash your hands regularly. maintain social distancing, and when you go out, please use a mask. Also ensure you comply with all advisory from the relevant health agencies. And together, we will kick out COVID-19. So before we go further, let me introduce some of our special guests here today. As I introduce them, I would like to ask that they turn on their video so that the audience at home can see their faces and, of course, know what they look like. I'll start with the sponsors of the Nigeria Prize for Literature. The Nigeria NLNG Limited was incorporated as a limited liability company in 1989 with the sole purpose of harnessing Nigeria's vast gas resources. And by doing that, they produce liquefied natural gas, LNG, and natural gas liquids, NGLs, for export. The company undertakes quite a number of CSR initiatives, and one of them is the Nigeria Prize for Literature, which is why we are all here today. Of course, you do know that there's also the Nigeria Prize for Science, and of course, the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism. Representing Nigeria LNG here today, we have the General Manager, External Relations and Sustainable Development, Mrs. Eyono Fatai Williams, who is ably represented by the Manager, Government Relations, Mr. Andy Ode. Mr. Ode, you're welcome. Please, let's see your face and keep your camera on. Thank you. We also have with us here this afternoon, Dr. Sophia Osfor. Sophia is the Manager, Corporate Communication and Public Affairs, and has direct responsibility for the Nigeria Prize for Literature and, of course, the other prizes. You're welcome, Sophia. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I would also like to introduce to you CORA. CORA is the partner of Nigeria LNG for this lovely party we are having virtually today. But a little bit about CORA. CORA is really what you can call a group of literary enthusiasts, and they are with the sole purpose of promoting arts in the country. They are art promoters, art writers, and they are committed to the development of arts in Nigeria and in Africa. And today we have representing CORA, the Secretary General of CORA, Mr. Toyin Akinsho. You're welcome, Toyin. We also have with us the Program Chair of CORA, Mr. Jaman Anikulapo. You're welcome, Jaman.
Yeah, thank you very much. I'm sure Tony is somewhere in the room. I hope he's not lost in the attendees room.
We'll look for him there.
Yeah, I'll reach him in the back. Thank you.
Okay, we'll look for him there. Thank you very much. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the book party is an annual literary event jointly organized by CORA and Nigeria LNG Limited. It's usually to publicize the shortlist of 11 for the Nigeria Prize for Literature. But this year, because of the COVID pandemic, the 2020 cycle had to be deferred and to next year. So it's offered us a very rare opportunity to have all past winners with us at this book party. So we are doing it differently, virtually, and with all our laureates here with us. In the virtual party with us today, we have Professor Ahmed Yerima. Professor Ahmed Yerima is winner 2006 for Nigeria Prize for Literature with his play, Art Ground. Professor Yerima, welcome. Okay, also with us this afternoon, we have Professor Adimora Akachi. We have Professor Akachi Adimora Ezeibo. She's the winner, Nigeria Prize for Literature 2007, with our work, My Cousin Sammy. Prof, you're welcome this afternoon.
Thank you.
Good to have you here.
Thank you.
Prof was joint winner with Mama Mabel Shegun in 2007. Mama's book was Reader's Theater, 12 Plays for Young People. And when I say Mama, she is a mama because She turned 90 this year. However, she's not with us today due to circumstances beyond our control, but she sends her regards. We also have with us this afternoon, Mr. Adeleke Adeyemi, but most people know him as May Nasara. May Nasara is winner 2011 with his book, The Missing Clock. Welcome, May Nasara.
Hello, everyone. Good day. Glad to be here.
Thank you. And also with us this afternoon, we have Mr. Tade Padiola. Tade Padiola is winner 2013 with his work, The Sahara Testaments. Tade, are you with us?
Hello, everyone. Yes. Hello, everyone.
Welcome, Tade.
Can you hear me?
Good to have you with us. Yes, loud and clear. And we have also with us today, this afternoon, we have Professor Sam Okala, winner 2014 with his work, Iredi War. Professor Okala, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And in the room is the man, Abubakar Adam Ibrahim, winner 2016 with his work, Season of Crimson Blossoms.
So Lola, Amalo.
Ibrahim, you're welcome. With us this afternoon is also Dr. Soji Cole, winner 2018 with his work, Embers. Soji, are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, organizers. Thank you, viewers. Thank you.
You're welcome. And we have with us Mr. Jude Idada, winner 2019 with his book, Boom Boom. Hi, Jude, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Hello, everyone. Glad to be with you all.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. So thank you for joining. We're happy to have you with us. I would like to ask that you all put on your videos. My colleagues on the technical side would like to take a quick picture for the records. Please, so let's ensure that all videos are on so that they can get that picture and we can move on. While they are doing that, let me quickly take a few things. Due to circumstances beyond their control, I've already informed us that Mama Mebe Shegun is unable to join us. Also, she's winner, co-winner, 2007. Kaine Agari, winner 2008 with her book Yellow Yellow, and Chika Onigwe, winner 2012 with her book On Black Sister Street, but they all send their regards. In the audience this afternoon, we have with us writers, scholars, artists, literary enthusiasts. We are happy to have you all here with us. Our friends from the academia and past judges, members of the advisory board, we know you are all there in the audience. We appreciate you, we welcome you. And of course, our partners from the media. This prize will not be what it is without your support. We appreciate you all. Ladies and gentlemen, this party is designed to be very, very interactive. So we'd like you to feel free to drop your comments, views, light banters in the chat box. However, the questions you would like posed to the laureates, we'd like you to drop them in the Q&A box. From there, we'll pick them up and ensure that they get those questions. And I would also like to inform you that this party is being recorded and will be available after now on NLNG and CORA's online platforms, YouTube, Facebook. You can always go back and watch. And for our friends who probably, due to one reason or the other, might have missed it, we also like them to, see what's happened here. Thank you very much. I believe we are done with the photographs. If we are done, I think we can then move on quickly. Thank you. So we'll take the opening remarks. But before we do that, may I ask that we observe a moment of silence to honor those laureates that are no longer with us on this realm. And I'm talking about Dr. Gabriel Okara, winner, Nigeria Prize for Literature, 2005, with his work, The Dreamer is Vision. Professor Ezenwa Oeto, he was co-winner, 2005, along with Dr. Gabriel Okara, and his work was Chants of a Minstrel. We also have Dr. Esiaba Irobi, who was winner 2010 with his work Symmetry Road. He actually won posthumously because he submitted his work and then a few weeks later, he left us for the great beyond. And of course, winner 2017, Mr. Ikogu Oke, with his winning work, The Eresiad. Please, let's observe a moment of silence for them. May their souls continue to rest in peace. They are no longer with us on this side, but yet they live on, because really, writers never die. They are immortalized through their works. So ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to invite now for the opening remarks, the Secretary General of CORA, Mr. Toyin Akinyosho. I hope he's been found. German, please confirm that Toyin is now in the room.
Mr. Akinyosho is there, yes.
Thank you. Mr. Akinyosho, please.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Can you all hear me? This is
yeah, we hear you.
Yeah,
we can hear you. We can see you.
So let me start with a few readings. I'll read 3 excerpts, and I won't say where I'm reading them from because there are 3 excerpts of 3 different winnings, and so it would not be fair for others whose books I'm not excerpting from. But because of time, I've chosen just and they're very short excerpts. So I start from this. She dreamt in sepia, like rust-tainted water running over the snapshots of her memories, submerging her dreams in a stream of reddish brown. But when the blood spotted and flowed, it would always be in astonishing red. That night, the sounds still echoed in her head, the dull thump of metal chopping into flesh, cracking femurs, splitting skulls, the first agonized screams, the moans and grunts, and the thunderous silence of disbelief that followed. She woke up panting and was further startled by little Limmy's frightened eyes peering into hers. You were screaming in your sleep. Faiza sat up and was shocked to find her dress drenched with cold sweat clinging to her skin. That's all for that one. Thank you very much. The next one. This is amazing literature. So as you can see from what I read now, the winners of the Nigerian Prize for Literature are terrific works. So this second one, Kompa immediately broke into a run. He raced down the corridor away from the counter. The nurse looked at him in alarm. Stop your dog, she called out. Kompa, I called him. He didn't respond. Rather, he took a turn and disappeared from view. The slim nurse turned to my dad as the nurse with the big stomach stood up. Sir, we don't want trouble. Go and get your dog before he bites somebody, the slim nurse said. Kompa will not bite anybody, I answered. Daddy, my leg is hurting me. Ege Boom Boom cried out. Please get a doctor for my daughter, my dad said in a firmer voice. Get your dog, take it out of here, fill the form, sit down and wait. That's the second one. Thank you very much, whoever wrote that. Thank you for writing that amazing. Then the third and final one, the Hermit's patch of pumpkins that's the oasis where to better watch the stars it dwells. With his dreams reckoned in the gate of Sophis, learning the language of light, not what sells. Light was language and song, baffled fishermen, flying the mega charts, metaphoric dream, found solace in tilapia, prayers, the amen, spread over speech like affirmative cream. The circular star, a circulating point in the sky, corals and astrologers whose baths were reckoned with falling meteorites, mapping with naked eye, provinces among the stars they claim beckoned. Thank you very much. Those are three different excerpts from three amazing books that have won this prize in the last 15 years. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 11th book party that we've been hosting since the last 12 years, since the last 10 years. The Nigerian Prize for Literature book party, the last time we got together was July 28, 2019 at Shell Hall, Muson Center on Lagos Island. It was a celebration of the shortlisted writers for last year's prize. The year before then, we had gathered at the same venue for poetry. This afternoon presents a rich harvest of conversation around, what writers have done since they've won the prize. We will be engaging with them, we will be bantering with them. These are stars. The Nigerian Prize for Literature is the biggest cash prize award for a literary competition on the continent. 2 years ago, it was roughly 35.7 million naira. Last year, it was around 36 million naira. This year, it would have been worth 38 million naira. The prize money makes the competition to be as keen as some of the most prestigious lit prizes on the planet, like the one that was, for example, announced this morning. But what writers want primarily is to distinguish themselves with magical writing and gain a wide audience in the event. For what is the worth of the riches when you don't have an audience? In the partnership that CORA has forged with the Nigerian Liquefied Natural Gas Limited for the annual book party, we see an opportunity for the creation of an entire economy around the book trade. And that's why we're doing this. Instead of moaning about the inability to have a 2020 prize event, a possibility that has been annulled by the raging pandemic, the partnership asks itself, is the whole idea not to nourish an audience of readers? So this afternoon, we're providing an opportunity for literature enthusiasts and the general public to interact with past winners, and we hope to continue stimulating public interest in the works that have won this prize. Yes, in Nigeria, we in CORA believe that a full ecosystem of the book trade is still possible in spite of the age of Twitter. That we can have robust publishing, book clubs, authors appearances to audiences to read everywhere from Michael to Maitama, bookshops in traditional markets, in shopping malls, online sales of ebooks and audiobooks, active proliferation of book blogs, book reviews everywhere, libraries in every corner from Ajangbadi to Karanamuda. Indeed, the book party is one of a series of events in our calendar that preface our annual book and art festival, which is 22 this year. All right, so this party was held for the first time 11 years ago at the seaside venue of the Goethe Institute. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this evening enjoy yourselves, chat with these stars, and let's have an exciting time this afternoon. Let us enjoy the moment. We look forward to your joining us at the Book and Art Festival in November. Thank you very much on behalf of CORA. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Kyosho, and thank you for welcoming us. We really appreciate the partnership between Nigeria LNG and CORA. We're aware that that partnership really has helped push forward to a very, fantastic level, the attention on literature. And we hope that partnership continues to thrive. If you permit me, I would like to, before I call on the representative of the general manager to give the keynote, I'd like to just recognize someone in the audience. Dr. Wale Okediran is former president of the Association of Nigerian Authors, is a former lawmaker, and currently is the Secretary General of the Pan-African Writers Association. He is a fantastic author, a great doctor, and a very, very accomplished lawmaker. We welcome you, sir. So ladies and gentlemen, we'll now go forward and take the keynote from the General Manager, External Relations, Nigeria LNG Limited, Mrs. Eyono Fatai Williams, who is represented here this afternoon by the Manager Government Relations, Mr. Andy Ode. Mr. Ode, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Yemi. Please, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you very much. Distinguished guests and members of this party, I'm making this on behalf of Eyono Fatai Williams, as Yemi said. But before I go into the address itself, permit me to say big welcome to Tony Akiosho, Secretary General of CORA, German Annie Kulakpo, who is the program chair for CORA. I know we have a list of about 9 to 10 of our esteemed winners. Fortunately, Yemi has earlier mentioned them and given them the recognition, but I stand on the same protocol, but it would be really, really great to say it's wonderful to have everyone here, especially our winners in this party, to share their time and experience with all of us. I welcome you all to this event, which has become customary in the calendar of the Nigeria Prize for Literature. Your presence is a clear demonstration of your love for literature on the one hand, and your support for the Nigeria Prize for Literature and the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism, both sponsored by Nigeria LNG Limited. As you may have been aware, the prizes have enjoyed immense public goodwill, which has made them successful at home and abroad. It has been made possible by most of you here today, writers, critics, publishers, and of course, the press, present at this book party today. Since we started the prize, inaugurated the prize in 2004, it continues to inspire and celebrate outstanding works of literature in the country because of the unflinching support it has received from different sectors of the society, one of which is happening today. The Nigeria Prize for Literature runs a 4-year cycle featuring drama, prose fiction, poetry, and children's literature. I'd like to just take us back a little bit and remind us of some of the successes that we have achieved to date. The prize is celebrating has celebrated 12 winning works and recorded over 2,000 entries from hundreds of authors resident in and out of Nigeria. Over the years, we have undertaken national tours with writers on the shortlist to promote their works. And more recently, we have partnered with prestigious organizations such as CORA, which has birthed this book party, and of course, Terra Culture, with whom we have organized book readings. We have also partnered with the Nigeria Academy of Letters to organize a winning workshop or writing workshop for budding writers to guide them and those who love literature on the essential aspects of the art of writing and creative writing. Proceedings of the workshop, titled A Handbook for Nigeria Creative Writers, was edited by Professor Dan Ezebaye, Festus Adesonye, Dele Layewola, sorry to say that, This was published in 2013. In 2017, we organized a workshop for writers of children's literature, which was facilitated by Professor Akachi Ademora Ezigbo, who is here today, Professor Kim Reynolds, and Dr. Helen Limon. Today, we can boast of more works that depict excellent writing, editing, proofreading, publishing in Nigeria, and this promises to get better. I therefore feel particularly elated that this book party provides us at Nigeria NLNG one opportunity to interact and draw inspiration from past winners, writers, and lovers of literature. This kind of interaction and support from you sustains our commitment to promote quality literature, encourage reading, and boost excellence in Nigeria, especially for publishing as well. At this point, I must acknowledge the Committee for Relevance at CORA for partnering with Nigeria NLNG to promote literature, the prize for literature, and the works that come out of our writers, especially with the book party. And of course, the Lagos Book and Art Festival, LABAF, which we use sustainably as platforms to promote the prizes. Today's event is to nurture the relationship between Nigeria NLNG as sponsors of the prize, the literary community who are the direct beneficiaries of the award, and the general public who are readers of the works of literature. In concluding, let me seize this opportunity to call on stakeholders in the creative industry and lovers of literature to help seek and point out innovative pathways to further develop the creative industry in Nigeria. With a population of about 100 million people, there is no reason why we cannot join other nations in riding on the back of a robust publishing and marketing industry, in celebrating writers whose books have been recognized for excellence. Imagine adopting them into blockbuster films. Imagine developing them into TV series and long-running stage plays. Imagine the national fan base that can emerge from artists and actors, and mementos associated with the books and characters in them. The opportunities are indeed limitless. Looking forward to today, I want to thank you for connecting to this virtual book party. Please enjoy the inspiring stories of our past winners, and remember, this remains a great opportunity, as always, for us in NLNG and for the rest of us who are in this party today, in helping to build a better Nigeria. Thank you very much, and let's have a good time.
Thank you very much, Mr. Andy Ode. And indeed, there are so many things that can be done with those winning works. And both you and Mr. Akinsho have actually laid down the groundwork for the conversation that will follow shortly. And we really thank Nigeria NLNG and CORA. This celebration of writers through various programs is hugely appreciated by the literary community. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, so I know we are all eager to hear from our laureates, and we will in a minute. I'd just like to again crave your indulgence to please recognize a few people in the audience. We have with us Professor Ayo Banjo. Professor Ayo Banjo, two-time Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, is the chairman of the advisory board for the Nigeria Prize for Literature, and of course, the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism. We welcome you, sir. And in the audience, we have some of our past judges and other members of the advisory board. Notably, we have Professor Deborah Ajakai. We also have Professor Asabi Kabir and Dr. Azumurana. They are all there. And there's also Dr. Abba. If you know him, he's one of two people to have ever won the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism. You're all welcome. So quickly, moving on, ladies and gentlemen, the next thing we're going to do is to watch a very short video on the Nigeria Prize for Literature. Thereafter, the program chair of CORA, Mr. Jaman and Nikulako, will then take laureates and throw those questions that you might have dropped in the Q&A box to them. So for now, please enjoy.
The history of Nigeria literary world took a dynamic turn in 2003 when Nigeria LNG Limited came up with the initiative to encourage and support Nigerian writers by rewarding their rare talent and creativity with an award that was christened the Nigeria Prize for Literature. Rotating annually amongst 4 genres: drama, prose, poetry, and children's literature, the award was designed to bring Nigerian authors to limelight and celebrate their unique accomplishments in the literary space. In 2014, the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism was introduced to stimulate interest in the reading and appreciation of Nigerian literature and promote critical thinking. The prize is worth 1 million naira and has been won twice by Professor Isidore Diarra in 2014 and 2018, and Dr. Abba Abba in 2019. The Nigeria Prize for Literature is administered on behalf of Nigeria LNG Limited by an advisory board comprising notable Nigerian academics and writers. When Gabriel Okara and Ezenwa Oheto emerged the first joint winners of the prize in 2005, it became a great validation for Nigeria LNG's optimism that the prizes will not only serve to propel great minds to prefer answers to crucial societal issues in development, but also improve the quality of writing, editing, and publishing in the country's print industry. The prize, which started with a cash prize of $20,000 in 2005, $1,000 and has become not just the biggest literary award in Africa, but one of the richest literary awards in the world. Between 2005 till date, the Nigerian Prize for Literature has rewarded and celebrated great authors and poets like Dr. Ahmed Yerima, Professor Akachi Adimora Ezigbo, Mabel Shegun, Kane Agri, Dr. Esiaba Iwobi, May Nasara, Chika Unigwe, Tade Ikpadiola, Professor Sam Ukala, Abubakar Adam Ibrahim, Ikogu Oke, Dr. Sojiko, and Jude Idada. Nigeria LNG Limited remains committed to rewarding literary excellence as part of its vision of helping to build a better Nigeria.
Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. We'll now go on to the panel to hear firsthand from our laureates. Please remember to listen attentively and drop your questions in the Q&A box. From there, we'll pick them up and post to the writers. Thank you. German, over to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Yemi, for this job that you're doing. From the list I have here, there have been 14 winners since 2004, but we have 11 that are alive and kicking and with us. And I'll be taking, in 2004, it was prose and no winner emerged. And I remember the hoopla that generated the war. I was also caught in that war. In 2005, on poetry, Professor Ezenwa Oheto won, with joint winning with Dr. Gabriel Okara. Unfortunately, the two of them are no longer with us. So I would like to start with 2006, when we had drama, and it was Hard Ground by Dr. Ahmed Yerima that won that year. That's according to the list I have here, because my memory is a bit short. But let me just say that the way the questions will go, as the writers have been briefed, is that we have 4 lines of questioning. The first is on personal. I mean, what has happened to you? I mean, after winning the prize and what you're doing. Second will be genre specific. We want to know your opinion about the genre in which you won, even though we acknowledge that some of you write across genre. But that's where we'll just stick to the one that you won. Then the third one will be general literature. General question about literature, the state of Nigerian literature, probably African literature. And then the last one is also general, your opinion or your review or your reflection on the state of the Nigerian Prize for Literature and your suggestion for the future of this humongous project. I said humongous because every time I think about the price, $100,000, I wish I was a writer so that I could put in, but I think that's one talent I don't have. So I'll just be on my own. So the first two questions will be take the first 10 minutes, and then we have a break, a short break of 5 minutes or so. Yemi will advise us on that, and then the last two questions will be for the last section. So let me start with the 2006, when I wish Yemi, the platform is not allowing me to share attachment. I don't know why. I would have loved to share the list of winners, but as I wanted to share CORA statement and I could only copy and paste. But I don't know, maybe that's the way it was configured. So let me start in 2006. I hope I'm being heard, please.
Yes.
So I would like to go around all the winners that we have in the house. So you all take about 2 to 2.5 or 3 minutes just to address this first personal question. The first question is, what has happened to you since winning the prize? Status, family, perception, friend, and how has the winning of the prize improved personal writing? Then you can then hint us about any new work that you have underway. Still in that line, you tell us about what was special about your book that won the prize. I know it's a lot to say in 2-3 minutes, but we'll see how we manage it. And then if you can share with us the process that went into writing the book, at what point did you begin to believe that you had an award-winning book? But you can wrap everything up as people who are very economical with words, who are very good with words. So I'll start with you, Professor Ahmed Yerima. You have 2-3 minutes to speak to us about what happened to you. Go on, sir.
Yes, you can hear me?
Yes, sir, we hear you.
Yes. Well, I won in 2006, and when I won, I was in government. I was then the Director General of the National Theatre National Troupe. And I won with the play called Hard Ground. And I had an inkling that it would win because my wife is a very strong-willed woman and she's never moved easily. But when she read the play, she cried. And I said, good, if I can make you cry, therefore I can make the judges, by his grace, make me win. And that kind of turned out to be what happened. I have since left government and I have moved into teaching full-time because that's what I was trained to do. I'm right now with the Redeemers University where I teach. My friends are not too many because you said we should talk about friends. Because when you write seriously, I'm a compulsive and writer. You, German, you are one of them. And Akachezebo, and of course, my father, Wale Shoinka. And the others are friends. I have some friends, you know. But what was special about the book was what was read by Professor Ayobanjo, and I think that was when I felt I would win, because when he read before the announcement of the winner, he had said so many lovely things, and we were three, and we had the great Femi Oshofison, Professor Oshofison, and the other guy with the dialogue. Their names were, you know, all our names were being thrown up and down, and he wrote it in a masterfully way. He described the three plays, and then he now came to my play and said the characters were so real that you could recognize them. They were like neighbors living with you, and that has been the guiding principle for me to write. And I've been able to write plays, and each time I hear Professor Ayobanjo's voice, I say, make these characters real. And that is what has determined my kind of writing. The characters must come from society. They must be relevant to the people that I'm writing for. And I want them, like Professor Banjo said that time, to recognize, I want the readers or the audience to recognize themselves within those characters. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Part of the question also is, what are you working on? The last part of it. Yes.
Yes. Ever since, well, since 2006 is such a long time, I think I've written up to 40 plays. And most of them, some of them historical plays, some of them. But right now, I just finished Ologboshere. Ologboshere is a play which was commissioned by the family of Ologboshere, the chief who was hung during the after the 1897 attack on Benin, and it was so evolving for me because it allowed me to give him life, almost like what I did with Queen Amina and Atahiru and all the other plays. But the play that has just been performed on virtual performance is called Brittling Diamond, which was the 2020 Independence play. And that was done by the Z Mirage group. And it was part of my attempt to, again, look seriously at the issue of the Nigerian coup, the Nigerian uprisings, and the place of the army, how they have guided and what they have done to Nigeria. And it was a very revealing and wonderful experience. That's where I'm at right now. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof.
Yes.
Let me move to another Prof, 2007. Professor Akachi Dimora-Ezigbo, your book for children, that was the year for children literature, and your book, My Cousin Sammy, was a joint winner with Leaders Theatre, 12 Plays for Young People by Mama Mabel Shegun. I'd like to inform that Mama Mabel Shegun is not able to join us. As Yemi said, she's advanced in age and she's a bit tired. But then she sent us a statement that may come in the second round of questioning. So, Professor Akachi Ezigbo, I'd like you to speak to us about the same set of questions that I've just put to Dr. Ahmed Yerima. I've posted it in the chat room. What has happened to you since winning the prize? Status, family, perception by friends. How has the winning improved your personal writing? Any new work that you are working on? And then what is so special about that book that won? And you can share with us the process of putting that book together and how you began to see that it was going to win. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
We hear you, ma'am.
Yes, My Cousin Sammy, that's the title of my children's novel. And it was a joint winner with Mebu Shegu, as you said. I have been writing for children for a while, even before I won the prize. So it was, winning that prize was quite good for me, but it kind of affirmed that my work is good. And it has also brought me recognition. Since winning the prize, I have gone on to write other books. In fact, I have written many more children's books. And I write also in the other genres. I write poetry, I write plays, short stories and novels. So I have gone on to write more. So winning the prize was a kind of boost to me. Not that I write for prize actually, for prizes. But the thing is, when you win a prize, it motivates you to do more. You feel that the work you have done has been recognized. So winning the NLNG prize, the Nigeria Prize for Literature, has been beautiful for me. It has brought me recognition. Today, I do not think that there are many children's authors in Nigeria who write better than me. And there are quite a number of people writing, but I count myself as one of them. And I believe that My Cousin Sammy is a good book and it's gone on to be read by many children, adopted in schools. So it's brought me recognition, and it also brought me the awareness that I can even do better than I have done. And since after winning that prize, I've also won other prizes, not just literary, but also academic prizes. And I've been able to travel internationally, sometimes to read my works or to give keynote addresses. I believe that some of these are fallout of winning that prize. So I want to really express my gratitude to NLNG for instituting this prize. And it is my hope that they will continue with it so that more and more people will win this prize. Now, my family life has also gone on, beautifully, and my children, I now have grandchildren, and most of them, they read this book and they are very happy with it. So it's not just that I have written a book that is enjoyed by other people, but even my family, my grandchildren, they're all reading the books. Now, you also ask about, sorry, can you remind me of the next question?
What you are working on?
Yeah,
and when did you believe that your book will win? Yeah.
Okay, right now I have written another children's book, which I think is good, if you ask me, and it's been accepted for publication. So I'm just waiting for it to be published. So I have gone on to do other works. I'm writing poetry too. Since the lockdown, since this COVID pandemic started, I have not stopped writing. You see, once you are a writer, you keep writing and you keep producing. And if you have the passion, you keep on doing more work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. That does it for me. Let me say that 2008, Yellow Yellow won by Kaini Agari, but she's not able to join us today. 2009, poetry. That was a prose for 2008. 2009 was drama. It was poetry. There was no winner. Then 2010, drama Cemetery Road by Dr. Esiaba Erobi. Unfortunately, is no longer with us on this side of the planet. 2011, The Missing Clock by May Nasara Adeleke Adeyemi. So Adeleke, I put the same question to you. I hope you can, so I don't keep on repeating the question. It's to see what has happened to you personally since winning the prize, and then what has changed in your status, your family life, perception by friends, and how the winning improve your writing profile generally. Any new works underway, and what was special about the book that won the prize? And you can share with us the process of writing that book, and when did you believe, or when did you start to believe that that book will win the prize? Thank you, Adeleke.
Thank you, German. Yeah, that's a whole barrage. I hope I can do justice to.
You can approach it anyway.
All right, thank you. Yeah, so since winning the prize, I have I wrote in that genre, children's literature. I wrote when I didn't have any kids of my own. Since winning the prize, I have been blessed with children of my own, and I'm happy to report that one of my children has been writing stories and illustrating. And I know Daddy bias, right? But it's a real thing, and it continues to gladden my heart. And she's been quite prolific. She's taken lessons in animation, in story writing, boot camps, and things of that sort. Of course, I've always also been writing. I have gone back to my collection of poetry for children done over 20 years ago. I had it down, but then I had to write The Missing Clock, which, by the way, has been republished under a new title. The Missing Clock is now Banji's story. I wrote under the pen name Inasara as a nod to where the story came from, the soil, as it were, Katsina. I grew up in Katsina. Inasara is Hausa for Adeleke. I broke up the name of May. The one who has Nasara. Nasara is, victory. Leke, I'm called by that name as well. And it came about because I wanted to give children that I was working with at the time, shout out to Shola Lamutu. Yes, great personality there. Children and the environment. So my book is the story has to do with the food security. Wanted for children to understand what that was about, environmental awareness and entrepreneurship and web commerce, all of that, in a way that children can relate to and talk with the grown-ups in their lives. That's always been important to me, to have children engaging with the grown-ups in their lives. So mom, well, dad and mom. I really don't know why we do by default mom and dad. So dad and mom, uncles, aunties, every teachers, the teachers' kids actually talking and being heard. That's always been important to me. Since then, I have not been writing fiction. I have been writing, it's the most, well, curiously, I've been writing songs. I've been writing songs for children because I have been following, well, the scene, as it were, on the ground, and I think there's been a lot of dehumanization of the Nigerian child, depersonalization, dehumanization. Of course, anybody can say whatever they want to say, should be able to say whatever they want to say, write whatever they want to write, sing whatever they want to sing. But I think that our children have been robbed of childhood. So I have been writing songs that seek to both entertain and, well, educate, and, well, for kids to be kids in the best tradition of the world. And so, which is why when kids are denied their childhood, because I've worked with kids right from when I could when I could be given some responsibility of my own in church. So that's Children's Sunday School, to have kids just have a good time, kids be kids, kids play, kids and not be sexualized. I mean, there's a whole lot of that. It's beyond sexualization, it's hypersexualization. The Netflix thing recently is on the same level in some way as the Omar Farouk, well, what shouldn't be in Kano. I also grew up in Kano, so it's personal to me as well. And it's both saddens and maddens, if there's a word for that, to have them together. And so, which is why I'm back to what I think is a way to speak to some of these things immediately. Of course, I'll always write for children. I have books for children, from science, talking about things like dinosaurs. It was surprising, well, not surprising, but in a way, it was instructive. Yeah, that's the word. When I engaged with my children and their friends, that nobody thinks there were dinosaurs in Africa from Africa. So I've done research to find out from all the way from Algeria to Zimbabwe, literally A to Z. And right now, one that I'm working on with my daughter, the writer illustrator, is Goronyosaurus nigeriensis. I don't know how many people have heard of that, apart from maybe Oga Toyin Akinsho, the geologist. It's an interesting thing. Yeah, my background is geology as well. I really did love my paleontology. So that's really me being in my comfort zone, as it were, but challenging. I'm going to yield the floor now. I thank you for hearing me out.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's quite a gosh, but it's okay. Well, 2008, 2012 was prose on Black Sister Street by Dr. Chika Unigwe, but she's not able to join us today. She offered her, she's teaching as of now, as we're talking now. 2013, poetry, the Sarah Testament by Taiwo Tade Ipadiola, the one that I would describe as the epic writer. So Tade Ipadiola, I put the same question to you. Your personal reflection on what has happened to you since winning the prize. What has happened in terms of your personal life, your family life? Have you made new friends? I know I became your friend, but you didn't share the morning with me, but it's okay. I'm not complaining. And how has the winning improved your personal writing? Any new works on the way? What was special about the book that won the prize? And if you can share with us the process of writing the book, and at what point did you begin to believe that you had an award-winning book? Paddy, please.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
I don't know, can you hear me?
We hear you. Go ahead, please.
Can you see me?
Yeah, we see you. We hear you. We see you.
All right. So since the Sahara Testament won the 2013 Nigeria Prize for Literature, I have started writing other things. I have not quite completed one entire manuscript. I have like 4 different manuscripts in the works. One of them is due out this month because people always ask me, "Oh, I hope you've not stopped writing." No, I haven't. One of the first things that was a little interesting that happened when the book won the prize was a recognition by my other professional association, the Nigerian Bar Association. Curiously, lawyers took a lot of delight in having one of their own make a statement in literature. And I was happy to oblige them with answers to the questions they had. What was special about the Sahara Testament, I think, will be the scope of the work. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know whether I would be able to do it within 300 pages. It was a particularly tough year. I think 2013 had a long list that was really great, a short list that was interesting. And it was a delight to have the book announced as winner eventually. What would I say has changed about me? I now have a bigger library. I like to say that. I have invested quite a lot of books in the Kofi Awono Memorial Library, as I promised to do if the book, The Sahara Testament, won the prize. And I think that a lot of people from around the world have been so good as to oblige me with even more books to make sure that the idea does not die. So I've been practicing a lot of law lately. So I would say has changed is that I feel I have a duty not to write below the standard of the Sahara Testament if I can help it. Maybe that's why, even though I have 3 manuscripts, I've not yet published one. Which other question would you like me to answer?
I think you've done justice to the question. You didn't mention those who have become your friends. Yeah, but it's okay. We'll get back to you. You don't want to mention my name.
CORA has been my friend from before the winning of the prize, and is still my friend. Oh yes, I have gone a little darker in skin.
Oh, okay.
My skin tone, okay. Yes. I have had offers from people who would like to introduce me to skin toning. I've turned them all down. I've chased them all out. Thank you.
Okay. Just make sure you don't become risky, because it will be very risky to you and to us too. Year 2014 was drama. It was won by A Radio War by Professor Sam Okala. Prof. Professor Sam Okala, you mute yourself. Professor, I hope you can hear me. Please unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself, please. Okay.
Are you talking?
Yeah. Yes, Prof. Thank you very much. I hope you still get the direction of the question. So if you can speak to that question.
Yes, yes.
Or if you want me to repeat it. Okay. Okay. Go ahead, please.
No need repeating.
Okay.
Thank you very much. What has happened to me since winning the prize? I was already wearing a cap with a number of feathers before I won the NLNG prize. So after winning the prize, I found that the NPL prize became a very long feather, longer feather than all the other ones I had had on my cap, and it became brighter than all the other ones. So I have my family, my friends who have always seen me as a star now began to see me as somewhat brighter than I used to be. And budding writers, aspiring writers began to flock to me for tutelage and mentorship. How has this improved my writing? Are you still hearing me? Are you still hearing me?
Yeah, go ahead, sir. We hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Okay. Are you seeing me?
We are seeing you, yes.
Okay. How has this improved my personal writing? I believe that it is the high standard of writing that wins this prize. So it is not the prize itself that improves your personal writing. But the prize does one thing. Because of its high value and its competitiveness, it challenges you to put your talents and skills to the best use possible. New works, yes. I'm working on the biography of my beloved late parents right now. In 2018, I co-wrote with Ben Nwanne The Odyssey of the Obi Emmanuel Efezomo II, another biography which was published by Crafts Book Limited. That was 2018. I've also been coaching young writers, two of whom got published as undergraduates. Their plays are in the reading list of some universities right now. Two more of the people I'm coaching are at different stages in the process of being published. When did I first realize I wanted to be a writer? I never, ever realized I wanted to be a writer. I found myself improvising drama skits right from the primary school, directing and acting in them. In my second year, third year in the secondary school, my principal noted my talents in writing, especially poems then, and he created on the school notice board what he called the Poet's Corner. He commanded me to paste a new poem on that Poet's Corner every Tuesday, and then at the assembly, he got everybody, staff and students, to go to the Poet's Corner to read the poems. In my fourth form in the secondary school, I wrote a play I called The Illiterate Graduate, which I sent to Onibonje Press. I think it was in Ondo at that time, to publish, but I didn't have the money to fund it. My first year as an undergraduate, I wrote The Slave Wife, which today is my most popular play. The Slave Wife is my most popular play today. It was accepted for publication by Oxford University Press before I graduated. So it was then I started noticing, you have become a writer. I didn't know until people started calling me a writer. I didn't even think that I wanted to be a writer. What was special about my book that won the prize? Should I talk about that?
Yeah, please, briefly, sir.
Okay. I'm shy and modest, so I can't praise myself. I can't praise my work. So I would rather repeat some of the words of the judges and a few critics. The judges said, the content is serious. The handling is quite mature. Events are reenacted vividly, and craftsmanship is commendable. The narrative tradition is interwoven with action. The description of the events is in linear order, but the interweave of narration and unfolding events is quite refreshing. That's what the judges said. A critic said from England, as usual, I'm astonished by the language and form in Ukala's theater writing. Powerful and rich, familiar and strange. And then a professor in Uniben said, a convincing blend of history and fiction. The folky style allows the swing from the natural to the supernatural, the real to the fantastic. So those are quotations I need to give to show what I think made the prize, the book win the prize. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prof. That is good.
I hope I haven't missed any question.
Because no, you're okay. You're okay. You actually addressed virtually everything. Yeah. In 2015, there was no winner. It was on children literature, but no winner. 2016, prose, Season of Crimson Blossom, Abubakar Adam Ibrahim. I won't bother to repeat the question because we lost a lot of time. So Abubakar, please, you can just go. You can approach the question anyhow, any way you like. Abubakar, please. Abubakar, yes. You can go on, sir. There's no audio. Hello? Hello, Abubakar. Hello?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Okay. Yeah, it's been exciting. It's been great. It's been fantastic. Since winning the prize, the book has been published in several countries across the world and translated into several languages. Most recently, it's been reacquired by the biggest publisher in France, Gallimard, and they're just rolling it out of the press. So that is exciting news. What have I been doing since then? Writing, living, trying not to die. And generally having fun now, enjoying life. I've managed to produce several manuscripts, and eventually one of them is coming off the press. It's a collection of short stories titled Dreams and Assorted Nightmares. Should be out before the year ends, and I have another novel which will be coming out maybe next year or the year after. Then But, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. Okay then, writing a column for a newspaper and doing other stuff. So yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. There's a bit of atmospheric noise. I know you're in a newsroom. I know I know a journalist room when I see one. don't worry about how I got to know. In 2017 poetry, the essay by Ikeogu Oke, unfortunately, is no longer with us. May God rest his soul. 2018 is drama, Embers, by Professor Sojiko, who is a professor now in Canada. Sojiko, please, you know the question, so just run over it. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, German. Let me begin with my history with NLNG. I was in, I think I was in my first year postgraduate studies at the University of Ibadan when NLNG started, and I have been a keen follower since that time. In fact, I was so keen on the followership that I acquired all the text right from inception till every year round. I make sure I read all the text just for the purpose of one day taking part in the competition, because I suspect that I am a writer. Probably the only book I've not read out of all the winning books is Judy Dada's Boom Boom. I have been trying to rack my brain how to acquire one or steal from him. So in 2014, when Dr. Yerima won, no, was it 2014? The year Dr. Yerima won, Professor Yerima won, I had finished the draft of my first published play, Maybe Tomorrow. So what I did was to acquire Professor Yerima's hard ground, and I was doing some kind of comparison. So, well, okay, Yerima writes well, I write well too. And actually, I'm prone to doing that very well. Henrik Ibsen is my all-time greatest writer. So usually I take Henrik Ibsen's work and I compare it with mine at every point in time. And I tell myself, oh, I can write whatever Ibsen has written. I've done that with virtually all the authors on the winning list of NLNG, be it poetry, prose, children's literature. And that is to tell you that I am someone who actually don't hide my intention. I had my focus on NLNG. So in 2014, when I had published Maybe Tomorrow, which was my first published play, I submitted it for NLNG. And I felt completely that it was going to be the winning book. You know, the enthusiasm, the curiosity to see myself on the winning platform was so grand then. But then, as we all knew, it never won. I was so upset. I was completely shattered. And my wife was completely shattered too, because we had synced this thing into our minds that Maybe Tomorrow was the 2014 winning book. No, yes, 2014 winning book. So what I did then, when Maybe Tomorrow did not win, was to tell myself I am going to use the few years in between when the drama circle is called for again to develop some sense of creative maturation and come out with a book that is going to blow the minds of virtually every reader. And that was actually what I did. And I had a very good experience in between. I got a Fulbright scholarship. I was in the US for a year, and I experienced a different side of theater, which I've never experienced before, theater therapy. I was in a theater therapy institute for a whole year. So I came back, I returned to Nigeria with my PhD completed. I was going to do my PhD in drama therapy, but of course the resources were completely limited. So I had to push my PhD to studying drama and films. When I returned in 2015, I felt I could do some practical projects on drama therapy. And the population that appealed to me were the IDPs in northern Nigeria, especially the vulnerable populations of the IDPs, the women and children, because I've read so much things happening to them. So I was doing research. I commissioned some of my students who were very close friends with me to help me do researches. We archived newspaper writings. I consulted with people in the north and all those things. And when everything was in the formative stage, I found I could not actually do the project because I don't have the financial resources. So all I did was to direct the energy and the products of that research into the winning book, which was Embers. So I also had some form of respite. My wife was studying in the US, and my daughter, who could have been some sort of distraction whenever I'm working, was away with her. So I was free. I had the time to write alone. So I finished Embers the moment my wife and daughter were arriving from the US. So when my wife read Embers, she said, wow, I think I love this more than maybe tomorrow. The voices of the characters were resonating. They were so vivid. And I said, really? I wrote this specifically for NLNG. And I don't care because there were some missteps along the way when I was writing. I got to a stage and I felt, to hell with NLNG. I just want to do freelance. I want to explore my creativity. If you read Embers, you will see that it's structured in 3 sections. Each section has its own title, and each section begins with some form of poetry. So I was experimenting. I was trying to break the boundary of my own creative energy. I did what intellectuals will call a postmodern approach to writing. That was entirely what I did. So at those very instances, I was damning NLNG that it doesn't matter if NLNG wants to stick with traditional writing, I don't care. I want to break the boundary of my own creative writing. So when I did that, and my wife said, this is beautiful, and I felt I'm submitting it for NLNG, she said, wow, beautiful. I had an inkling that this is likely going to win. But at the same time, the fear creeps in that, well, all this, your experimentation, are you sure it's going to be accepted? And I told myself there are probably hundreds of other dramatists who have written something that have broken the boundary of creative writing that we knew. So I felt, well, it's going to be a very good competition. This is going to give anyone who is going to win a very tough time. So I keep telling people, I finished writing a play, I'm submitting it to NLNG. I'm not sure it's going to win, but I assure you of one thing, it's going to give the winning book a very tough competition. I assure you of that. So that was my intention. Now, I sent the book to my student, a former student, whom I had commissioned to be the publisher. He just started his publishing outfit. So I felt I've seen some of his works, which were quite good, of very good quality. So I sent it to him, and a few days after, he just called me, please, I would like to meet with you. I would like to meet with you. What is the problem? I said, please, it's very, very important. When I saw him, he said, Sojiko, this is the winner of next year's NLNG prize. And I said, wow, really? So at that moment, I was beginning to have that sentiment that this is really the book. And so what has happened to me since winning? Well, I think I've been more mature. I've tried to eat less, not thinking of, oh, the money is there now, I should eat more. I have become more modest than I used to be. But the most important transformation is that a few years before winning, some 2 years before winning, I have been having some form of mental jigsaw within myself that I need to acquire some further education. Despite the fact that I already had a PhD, I felt I wanted to do more learning. And I've been having communications with some professors in North America. And when the NLNG money came, I felt this is the time to invest some of these things in what I really aspire to do. So presently, I am in North America, specifically Canada, and having spent 8 years standing in front of the board, teaching students drama and playwriting. I am now sitting in the classroom, listening to professors teaching me philosophy, sociology, cultural studies, and some sciences in the current PhD, which I have decided to invest in. So what am I currently working on? The truth is, on the aspect of drama, nothing. But I can say that I have some enriched ideas secluded somewhere. And I believe they are likely to catapult readers just like Embers has done. But then I've done a lot of short story writings. You know, I experimented a lot with 100 words short story writing, and I have a couple of compilations of this story writing. I also write opinion pieces for some outlets, and basically that's what I've been doing, except that I have my family here with me. Earlier on, when we traveled, we are usually separated. You know, my wife had to go with the girl, I have to go on my own. But now we are all in North America, courtesy of some of the windfall from NLNG.
Okay, thank you very much, Sojiko. You know, if I was a pastor, I would say that now I know what because you were confessing actually, and but don't worry, you are going to it's allowed. And now to the very last in this first round, Judy Dada, Boom Boom. It's Boom Boom won the 2019 prize. It's a children's book, and the book has actually traveled a lot. Even a few days ago, he was a guest on a book festival, the Kuramo Book Fest, a festival of words, and he was able to throw a lot of light on us. So, Judy Dada, please.
Yes, hi.
You can take the floor now.
Yeah, hi everyone. This is Jude. I'm the baby of the house, the last one standing. First off, before I begin, I'll just do a little quick background. Yeah, Boom Boom won for children's literature, but before that, I've always stood behind all the greats you've heard speak. For Poetry Rain, Tade won with Sahara Reporters. I had a collection in Exotica Celestica, which didn't win or didn't get mentioned. When Abubakar Adam Ibrahim won with his books, Season for Crimson Blossoms, I had one in called By My Own Hands. It wasn't mentioned. When Professor Samukala won, my play Oduduwa, King of the Edos, was shortlisted with him. When Sojiko won, I had Sankara, which was long-listed. And then when there was no prize for children's literature, I had another book, Didi Kanu, Singing Dwarfs of the North, which that year they didn't have any prizes or any winner, but they had a workshop, and Professor Ezigbo taught us during that workshop. So I'm just saying this just to show that there's been this long association with NLNG, Nigeria Prize for Literature. When I wrote Boom Boom and submitted it for the Children's Literature last year, 2019, I was trying to write something that was topical, something that was adding to a dialogue and trying to push an agenda forward. It speaks or explores the condition, medical condition, sickle cell anemia. And I'm happy that I won, or the book won the prize for that year, because not because any other thing I wrote about didn't have as much oomph as that sickle cell anemia, but I just felt that with Boom Boom and sickle cell anemia, it was giving me a vehicle to be able to push something that was culturally and socially specific, and something that could actually engineer change. So yes, so sickle cell anemia is the backbone of my book, Boom Boom. I'm sure you could check it out. Soji, I owe you a copy. You said you are trying to get one. What have I done since I won? Did I know I was going to win the prize? I definitely didn't know. When I was announced as the winner and I went on stage, I remember there was a professor from University of Kebbi, and she knelt down on the ground and she kept shouting, "Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar." And she finally told me that, she had read a couple of my work, and she had always been, championing me and hoping that I wouldn't falter or get weary, that I'll keep on writing and one day I will win the prize. So I'm thankful for that. What have I done since then, since I won the award? I started a children's literature competition called the Sandra Whiteley Prize for Children's Literature. The first, we had the first year edition this year where 6 people won awards and cash prizes and all of that. Children between the age of 9 and 13 and 14 and 18 who are resident in Nigeria. I have gone around and I've spoken on sickle cell anemia. I've worked with the Sickle Cell Foundation. I have done work with Think STEM Foundation in the US, pushing for the eradication and the management and destigmatization of sickle cell anemia. That has been what has taken most of my time. I have gone to schools. I have read from Boom Boom. I have spoken to children about their genotype, about responsible behavior. I have done the same thing in Canada and everywhere that I find a platform. That being said, I've also been writing. I have written 2 collections of short stories. One is called How to Be Human and Not a Color, which is about my encounters with racism in North America, which is being published. I have another one entitled I Had a Father, which is experiences between me and my father, 65 short stories, and how these have molded me to be who I am. And then I have another one called Only Crazies Are Born in April, for which Tade Padiola gave me a blurb and was pretty, about the content. But that just explores 6 stories from my early days. So I keep on writing. I've taught in different schools, both in Canada and South America and here in Nigeria, writing, playwriting, screenwriting and all. I have also directed a film this December, which is being produced. So I've been very, very busy doing what I know how to do. And most importantly, I write on Facebook. So I write a story every day, which is me trying to look at the world through a unique POV to try and change how people see the environment around them and how they can give to changing the narrative or the landscape or whatever complaints they have. So writing has been where I've been my forte. It's been what has been pushing me since then. Have I made any new friends since I won? Well, I'm a friend of everybody. I'm an enemy of nobody. German is my really great friend. German pushed me, and in as much as you know what I'm talking about, German introduced me to the high offices. And thank you, German, for that introduction. I appreciate it. Is there any question, any other thing I've missed?
I think you addressed,
I have. Thank you. I'm so honored for being amongst this highly respected team of writers. As I said, I'm a baby writer. I'm not a professor. I'm not a doctor. I have no PhD. I'm just trying to capture the world through the words that I can invoke. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that's nicely wrapped up. We'll take this to be the first session because we just spent 29 minutes and it was supposed to be 30 minutes. We've overrun time. I'm going to appeal that the 4-question direction, we're going to collapse the other 3 questions into 2. And I'll tell you what we're going to do, how we're going to achieve that. So what we'll do now is take a short break to drink pure water. I'll ask Yemi, whoever is sharing, to do the 5 minutes break, and then we come back for the second one so we can reconfigure or recalibrate for the second. But thank you very much. The stories have been very exhilarating, and I hope our media friends who are there are getting a lot to harvest. As a reporter, I'm getting a lot of information that I could see Tony Akesho is going to write one major story based on this. So let's just take the break now, Yemi, and then we come back and we collapse the rest of the questions.
Thank you very much, German. Thank you. And thank you, Laureate, for that lovely discussion. We love the stories. And indeed, we'll take that short break. After all, what is a party without some dance? But before we do that, we'd like to involve our audience. I mean, they've heard so much about the prizes. They've heard about, the works. Let's test, how much they know. So we'll have a 4-question poll shortly. You see the question displayed on your screen. Just click the correct answers. the lawyers are exempted. Just the people in the audience. So just click the correct answer and then let's see how that goes. So ladies and gentlemen, let's go. So name a Siaba Irobi's play that won him the Nigeria Prize for Literature in 2010. We'll have about 30 seconds to indicate. So once we do that, then we can, and I'm counting down. Wow, okay. The options are there: Cemetery Road, Cemetery Lane, Night Dancers. Okay, I'll end the poll in 3, 2, 1. So, ladies and gentlemen, you can see right there on your screen, a lot of people really know this prize, and you can see that about 64% of us got that right. Thank you very much for that. Let's take the second quiz. In which year did the Nigeria Prize, in which year did the prize money for the Nigeria Prize for Literature rise to $50,000? And I will stop that in 3, 2, 1. And let's check. Oh, I thought this is about money, that a lot of people will know it. 49% got it right, really. 2008 was when that amount went up to $50,000. So nearly half of the people in the room. So that means that we really need to follow the prizes. They have their own handles on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We also have information on the website of the Nigeria Prize, so we can really get up-to-date information on the prize. Let's do one more check. This is a quick one again. What was the name of the work and winner of the Nigeria Prize for Literature in 2017? I'm sure a lot of people will get this one. German has talked about it like 4 or 5 times. Okay. And I'll stop this in 3, 2, and 1. Okay, so you can see there, 47 people got this right. It is The Heresiad by Ikogu. Okay, that was the winner, 20. That was the winner. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had some fun. Please ensure that you follow the prizes on social media: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You also have information about them all over the place online. They have dedicated pages on the Nigeria NLNG website. Let's enjoy the information there. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's enjoy the entertainment. This entertainment is coming to us. It's coming to us by a group. It's a performance for Nigeria 60, and it's written by Kole Adeodutola, and it's performed by a group called Gifted Steppers. In case you don't know them, they describe themselves as a group of dancers who, through art, have been provided with accommodation, clothing, feeding, and most importantly, education, to change the narratives of their lives for a better tomorrow. Gifted Steppers was established in June 2017 by Omar Harrison, and the goal was to give back to the society. Key focus is to empower less privileged children through teaching and training of performance arts. The group has performed at various events, and you can see their videos online, especially on their social media profiles. They stay together and observe requisite advisory from health agencies in carrying out their performances, especially during this pandemic. So ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.
My condition may be critical, and people may be cynical. I tell you, all radicals, it is not time to ridicule me. I shall rise again like the Corticals. Nigeria, the wonderful land, full of wonders to behold. The old would fester and new ones, emerge like creators. The people hold on to hope as they cope with poverty and want.
It's like a ripe crop waiting for your tender hands to pluck and taste like Eve tasted of an apple out of one's fork. It is the woman you made me who gave me an apple to use for computing.
The gentle touch and gentle rub makes you roll to tears drop. Soon, blank spaces will be filled and to respond with, yes, I do. Or not, the solemn, yes, I will. The waiting carriage of time opens its door to the future. Here I come. The rogues cannot steal our road to success. They can only steal our road to disunity. All mind and destiny, courage the mark of our destination, and nothing can alter the forest
Thank you very much, gifted steppers, for that wonderful performance. Indeed, you are Nigeria, and Nigeria is you. And thank you for all that lovely message you passed on to us. Ladies and gentlemen, like I said earlier, this is the group of underprivileged children which Omar Harrison brought together. And they've really, really tried, and they're doing very well for themselves. They stay together and observe safety in everything they do. And they also adhere to the health advisories from relevant agencies in carrying out their performances. I'm now going to hand back to German to take up Lawrence for the final session. But before then, I'd just like to quickly recognize in the audience Professor Dan Izebae, who was a founding member of a member of the founding committee for literature when this prize began. He's also been a former chief judge for the prize. We really appreciate the fact that you could join us this evening. And of course, James Murua, of course, you know, most people here know the name, is Kenyan. He joined all the way from Kenya. He's a famous blogger on African literature. We really appreciate you. And Professor Duroni, writer, dramatist, we appreciate you for joining. German, pardon me, please back to you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Opayemi Adeyemi. In fact, I'm very happy that James Murua is here. James is our brother from Kenya, and he's doing fantastic job. I think I like to say that he's the #1 literary reporter, literary correspondent, literary commentator on the continent of Africa. That is here. I'm very happy. Thank you very much, James. He was at Labaf a few years back, and we still remember what he did. Even though he didn't take the pepper soup that we offered him, he thought, okay, I won't go there. So I've collapsed. We have about 12 questions for the next session, which should have been in 3. But I've just managed to put on my editor's cap and collapse them into just 2 broad ways. Because I know that we're dealing with very eminent writers and users of word, intellectuals who can generally address the questions. So the first one, because we have just about 28 minutes to the end of this program. What is the state of Nigerian literature? And it will go to all of you. What is the state of Nigerian literature, writing, publishing, distribution, and readership? What is the state of Nigerian literature, writing, publishing, distribution, and readership? And you can extrapolate that question into addressing your perception of the Nigerian Prize for Literature and what do you see as its future suggestions. Now, for this last one, you can actually also develop a paper around it and send to us in the back end so that we can harvest it and to become part of our document. But you can just touch on it for now, because we want the prize to continue to be the biggest prize on the continent and around the world. So I will go in the reverse order or reverse back order, as we say initially, of the way I've taken the question. So I'll start with Judy Dada. What is the state of Nigerian literature, writing, publishing, distribution, and readership? And then what is your perception of NPL, and what do you see as its future suggestion? Every writer has 4 minutes just to do this, so that we can have 4 times 8, 32 minutes, but we'll see how we manage it. Judy Dada, please.
Yes, there's definitely a groundswell of work happening in the Nigerian literary and landscape. There are new voices coming out. There's an enchantment with the written word and with culture, both on the socio-political level and then on the spiritual level. I have writers who come up to me from age group I actually met a writer at 4 years old to 5 to 9. We have Anissa Oniko Daniel, who was Daniel Oniko, sorry, who was part of the long-listed writers last year for the children's literature term. And that tells you what is happening out there. Everywhere I go to read, parents come up with their children to me and they say, oh, this is my child, she's 10, she has written this book and that. So there's something that's happening right there. I know that it's not popular in terms of people think people do not read, but people read. They're reading in different forms. They're reading on social media. They're reading written books. They're reading ebooks. They're listening to audiobooks. So there's something that is happening right now amongst the Nigerian literati We have a lot of writing competitions coming out, a lot of writing forums coming out, a lot of writing workshops, and we have the international prizes, which is also, instigating people to even write more. So yes, if we can get the publishing value chain right, where not only do we write, but we have ways to get what we have written to the readership in terms of the purchasing public, then things like that will work. In terms of even the cost of books themselves, in terms of the quality, as it has to do with printing presses and all. So I think that there should be private-public participation in these areas of the publishing value chain. But as I said earlier, there is something happening, a groundswell. There's a tsunami that is coming. There are voices that are incredible in both terms of skill set, in terms of ambition, in terms of daring to tackle even subjects that we haven't even tackled before. And there's also something that I'm happy to see from what I read and from the writers I speak with, is that sense of independence that is saying that as a writer from Africa or Nigeria, it is not my duty to only write about the big and heavy subjects, that I can just write about the soft things, write about life, write about the uniqueness of my POV, of how I see things that happen around me. Because we see writers in the West having this privilege to just write about a tree in the backyard and an apple that fell from it and win an award for that. But for us as Africans, we have to write about the big things of nationalism and this and that before they say our writing is great. But look at Abubakar's writing, how soft and flowery, and the subject it was dealing with, and the audacity he had to even deal with, I don't know if I can say it, but sexuality in the Northern Hemisphere. So I think that there's something that's happening. The new writer is more audacious, he's more ambitious. And if we can just get the publishing value chain right, then we know that we are going to shout Eureka or Uhu very soon.
The question is, what do you think about NPL? Just in,
yes, that's the second one. Yes. First and foremost, I'm always, I'm the first person to always champion the Nigeria Prize for Literature sponsored by NLNG. Because first off, I say that I live in Canada and I live here in Nigeria, just like Soji Cole does. And I say that it behoves on us to look for validation coming from ourselves. We do not first have to wait to win a foreign prize before we say that we are writers, that we have, there's some kind of oomph to our work. NLNG has sponsored the Nigeria Prize for Literature for 15 years now, and they have kept it. They've actually increased the prize money, the diligence, the judges, and all of that kind of stuff. There's nothing that is perfect, definitely. Everything where, with time, you get it better and all of that. But it's something that should be celebrated, something that should be supported, because this is the same kind of atmosphere where we're having Big Brother Nigeria and, music shows and everything, where NLNG is choosing to support something that is more serious. So I think that that is something that needs us to champion, needs us to blow our vuvuzelas to say this is what this company is doing, so that other companies, be it MTN or be it Airtel or be it Cadbury or Dangote, can actually come into the serious, let me not call them the serious arts, but the high arts, to push it out there into the imagination of the public. So yes, kudos to NLNG, what they are doing, to the workshops they've had, because it's interesting to know that I won the prize for children's literature, but the year where there was no prize, I went for a workshop that was facilitated by NLNG and sponsored by them. And it was what I learned in that workshop that gave me the gravitas or the knowledge I needed to be able to write Boom Boom that won this prize. So of course, we have them doing the same thing with dramatic literature. We have them doing the same thing with science. So I think for a company like NLNG, doing something that is not, how will I put it, not cool or voguish, which would be like what reality shows and music will be all about. It's something that we should stand behind. It's something we should champion, something we should speak about. And for me, I'm just honored that they have stayed the course. They haven't, reduced prize money. They haven't skipped because of a lack of followership or whatever. They've just stuck to their vision of getting reading, engineering reading amongst the people again. So thank you, NLNG, for what you do. We're praying that you'll be there to do it for more years and more years. And a quick one before I get cut off. When the writers, they all called me, because of course I'm the current winner. They all called me, Jude, what is happening? Isn't it NLNG? Are you going to cancel this year? Please, can you beg them for us? They shouldn't, and all of that stuff. So there's a whole lot of people out there who are waiting, who will die if NLNG cancels the Nigeria Prize for Literature. So thank you, NLNG. I know you suspended it this year. I know you'll be there next year, and I know you'll be there for the years to come. I salute.
Thank you very much, Jude. Just to drop the hint that Big Brother Nigeria is a serious business for some of us who don't sleep at night. You can let your imagination run wild. Soji Cole, please. Soji Cole.
Yes, my video has been disabled by the host.
Okay, please just go ahead. We'll find a way to bring it
up. Thank you very much. First of all, let me quickly disagree with Judy Dada on personal terms. He's the one who lives in Nigeria and lives in Canada. I live in Nigeria and stay in Canada. Once my visa expires, I cannot stay one day in Canada. I will be bundled into jail and then thrown back to Nigeria like a priced cow. So he's the one who is free to move from Nigeria to Canada. I don't have that freedom. Be that as it may, I also want to agree with him 100% on his perspective on the state of Nigerian literature. And going forward, I'm going to expatiate on his ideas. Nigerian literature is flourishing, but we are probably not looking in the direction where it's actually flourishing. Attention is always on the writers who have won NLNG or have won 1 or 2 awards. But the truth is that there are young writers in Nigeria who write in other platforms that are very, very virulent, very energetic, very cerebral writing. Writers who explore boundaries, both beyond the boundaries of intellectual creativity, like we know. I've read quite a lot of them. I am friends to quite a lot of them. These are young guys, young ladies from Nigeria. And if you read them, you sit back and say, wow, looks like for some time to come in the future, Nigeria will continue to be the recipient of the Nobel Prize for Literature year in, year out. And I'm serious about this. And I've edited quite a few of some of the works of these people. So what I am saying specifically is that we have these rich and nourished, creative young ones who are writing every day. They are undermined because they do not have the resources to actually bring their creativity to the public. So they write on probably digital platforms, which sometimes may be hard for most of us who are used to traditional text to continue engaging with every time. And I think that is where attention should be focused on by NLNG and League of Nigerian Writers, whatever name they are cast in. I know there are different sets of Nigerian Writers Association. These are areas where they should focus on how can we encourage these young writers. And I would think that NLNG should encourage also unpublished text. I don't know how it's going to be. I have no mandate to say this is how the price should be administered. That is the prerogative of the advisory board. But I think there should be some platform with which we can hear the voices of these young ones who are yet to be published. This to me is a very strong mandate that I think organizations who are sponsoring writers' literature should be able to focus on. And my suggestion for the NLNG Prize, aside that, is that I feel that some form of attention should also be cast on the long list writers, the writers who are on the long list. I feel it is somewhat depressing to be on a long list and then some few weeks afterwards, you find out that you are talking about just 3 and then the winning play. And unconsciously, the other people on the long list dissipates out of the public view. for me, I think this amount to some sort of waste. NLNG should aspire to package some form of compensation. I've always been an advocate of that, some form of compensation for the writers on the long list. My proclamation has always been, once you're on the long list, you are as good as the winning author. That has always been my mandate. Once you're on the long list, you're as good as the winning author. So maybe we should also start to focus on those writers who come on the long list. I have seen quite a few writers. Jude is one of them. I know there are a couple also who are on the long list of different genres, year in, year out, or in alternate years. You know, these are writers that attention should also be focused on. It does not have to be on the winning work alone. I think I am not saying that NLNG has not done enough. In fact, NLNG has done the greatest thing that could happen to Nigerian literature. I think we need some other association to partner with NLNG to move Nigerian literature forward. And when I say partner, I don't really mean that coming to NLNG with proposals to sponsor programs. No, I mean coming with a brief on how to take actionable steps towards activating those areas that I have mentioned. And what else am I missing? Am I missing anything?
No, I think you've addressed the two. You've spoken about
Okay,
general
cool.
state of
Otherwise,
literature.
I will just go on talking.
Yeah. What I would suggest, as I've said, is that all the writers, please, you can put your proposal for the NLNG together because they are interested in the future of the prize. We are no longer, I mean, Nigeria is 60. I said that one of the most accomplished accomplishments of the sounding accomplishment of Nigeria is the NLNG as a gas company and the NPL as a project. But please, Big Brother is also another award for Nigeria. We're very happy that somebody got 86 million, and it's from Bariga, as I was told. So let me move on. I would like to bring Tade. Is it Tade? No, Abubakar, please. Abubakar Adam Ibrahim. Okay, Season of Crimson Blossom. Abubakar, please. Abubakar.
Yes, hello.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying, could you repeat the question so that I'll know exactly what I'm addressing?
No, I recalibrated the question into two. One is on the general state of Nigerian literature in terms of writing, distribution, publishing, and readership. Then the second one is your advice or your comment on the future.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to start by agreeing with both Soji and Jude. You know, in commenting the LNNG for continuously sustaining this price, even during these challenging times. You know, it's really commendable that they are committed to this task and that they've been doing it year in, year out, and they keep, you know, making the price bigger. And I hope that in the next few years, they're going to make it bigger even more, you know, so that next time when we come around, we'll win maybe $200,000. Yeah, it's funny how it has inspired a lot of people to write. Not just funny, but also interesting. You know, when you listen to someone like Soji saying how he has dedicated himself to, you know, reading the winning story so that he would one day be a winner, and eventually he made it. Except that after he won, he stopped reading, so he missed out on reading Jude's book, which. So Jude, don't send him a copy. He has to buy it, and he has to buy it for $20,000, please. Okay. But yes, I think it's great. It's a great idea to support the people who make the long list. I think that would be a great idea if it's possible. I know how difficult that is, but I think it's an idea worth considering. Even though if you do that, then people like Jude, who is always on the long list every year, is going to end up with more money than everyone else when he wins again and ends up on all the long list. But to address the question now, I think, in terms of, remind me again what that question was, please.
No, the question is on the general state of Nigerian literature.
Yes, that's. Well, this is something that breaks my heart, and I say that sincerely because even when we were longlisted that year, in all the interviews I had, I kept talking about how important it is to support the publishing industry and all of that. And I remember we had this conversation with some senior officials of the LNNG then about making some kind of gesture to support publishing in Nigeria. And the argument then was that, well, we are a business, they are businesses too, so in a way we're doing our own social responsibility by supporting the price. So they should, find ways of making ends meet and growing bigger. It's a logical argument, but at the same time, LNNG is a business unlike any other, and the publishing industry in this country is more or less it's a labor of love. The people who are investing in it are doing so because they love literature. They believe that Nigerian literature is worth something and it's worth investing in. They haven't been able to find a model that works yet, that is profitable, that is self-sustaining. So I think at this early stages, and I still think it's at early stages, right? Because the publishing industry, this phase of the publishing industry kicked off in the early 2000s. I think it needs all the support it can get. So yes, if the LNNG or any other corporate body could, help out in that area, then I think that would be a great idea. Yeah, so I think that's that. With young writers, we have a lot of them coming up trying to find their footing, and a lot of them are exploring the digital space, and I think that's a commendable thing. Hard paper publishing is difficult, it's challenging, but there's a viable option now that they can explore. Which also brings me to the question of, will the LNNG consider at some point, maybe now, maybe in the future, e-published books, right, digital books for submissions in this prize? I think there's issues that the administrators of the prize maybe need to engage with and come up with a firm decision. If they're going to be open to this idea in the future, that would be great. If not, maybe they should take a stand at some point. Yeah. So I think that's
Okay.
so that I don't dominate and keep talking and talking. So I'll stop here.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abubakar. As your
Okay.
sibling in journalism, I generally don't talk for too much. It just,
Oh, we don't.
we're not lecturers like Dr. Sojipo.
yeah. Or Professor Okala, for instance, right?
Professor Okala, Anyway, thank you very much. So I'd like to call on Professor Sam Okala, author of The Lady War, which won drama in 2014. Prof, sir.
Thank you.
Go ahead, sir.
Are you seeing me?
Yes, we can hear you, but I'm not sure we can see you. But you can go ahead. Your voice is more important.
Okay. Generally speaking, literature in Nigeria is very vibrant. Very, very vibrant. Just a minute. I think you can see me now. Yes, I said it's vibrant. Many students apply to read literature in the universities. That's one thing that you can say. If the course is not good enough, if the career is not good enough, people will not be wanting to come and do it. But in many universities, you have quite a large number of students coming to read literature. There's also much writing going on. much writing, much more writing than we had in the olden days. And many old and young writers today have become famous internationally. Yet there are also a number of problems, including one, poor writing with several structural and grammatical blemishes on several pages of any work, especially manuscripts that you can take from some young people. Loads and loads of blemishes. I do not know what should be done to change that. In the universities, we hardly teach English as it should be taught in the secondary schools. So I think we have a problem with secondary schools where our students are not taught properly and they come into the university and they cannot really command the language effectively. So you have poor writing, you have self-publishing, with the publishers doing garbage in, garbage out, not taking the rigors that you had earlier publishers take in making sure that a book that is published is worth its salt, both in content and in style. Now, so you have self-publishing, it jettisons those other good things that you had from XY multinational companies. You have self-marketing. With self-marketing, you are limited. Your sales and your readership get limited. Many people don't see your work apart from those who know you or who live around you. But then we had the times when Oxford University Press was to full capacity. Any conference that you attended anywhere in the world, you will find your work that was published by them. This is not happening now. Royalty is hardly paid now, even by the big companies. They hardly pay royalties. So you get what you sell, and you are in a country without or with little reading culture. And so how much can you sell when the publisher is not selling for you and is not paying you royalty? Your successful works are brazenly pirated. Our successful works are brazenly pirated. In fact, my radio is sold online, almost by every online shop, but I didn't put it there. What you find there is pirated. So these are the problems that Nigeria is having as far as Nigerian literature is concerned. Because of all of this, Nigerian literature cannot feed its makers living in Nigeria. They must live by something else. Unless you have been published abroad where you are earning good royalty, if you depend on literature in Nigeria, you will starve if you don't do something else. Now, the Nigerian Prize for Literature is one of the best things that has happened to this country. It is actually one of the best things. And all I can say is that the public, everyone, writers and non-writers, should continue to support NLNG for endowing this prize and to continue to sustain it. You see, because what NLNG is doing is not only through this prize increasing, improving on the quality of literature and quality of science, NLNG is also enriching people. It's enriching people. I mean, one of us just said that NLNG prize took him to Canada to study. It's enriching people. And so NLNG should be encouraged to continue in this line. Now, what people have suggested here, that those on the long list should be encouraged in one way or the other by NLNG. I think that having a long list of 11 encouraged would be too much, too tasking for NLNG. I would think that they do what other people who award prizes do. In most cases, the first prize, then the first runner-up, and the second runner-up, in which case you have about 3 or 4 persons, who benefit every year from LNG. Now, I think the other thing they need to improve upon is taking the books round, getting reading tours. Could they also think about getting into distribution somehow? In 2014, I don't know what happened. I did not go on a reading tour with NLNG. I thought that that was part of what I was supposed to have, but it didn't happen. I know they published, they sponsored the publishing of the book at some point and distributed what they published. But I think that kind of thing should be on a sustainable basis so that all those works that have won, NLNG should still continue to parade them and distribute them and display them to the reading public. I think that way, bringing us together here now, we have more meaning because they haven't let go of us. Every year they send us diaries. Every year they invite us to one thing or the other. They should also help in distributing and promoting the works that have won this NPR. Thank you very much.
Very much, Prof. That was very good. The promotion of the work that have won, even subsequent works of the writers, as I would say, because once you have won the NLNG, the Nigerian Prize for Literature, I think you become a laureate of the Nigerian Prize for Literature, the same way that the Nobel has been doing for those who have been winning the Nobel and the Man Booker Prize. Thank you, sir. Straight, let me go to Tade Ipadeola. I think you are next, even though I'm struggling with my laptop. Tade Ipadeola, please. Hello, Tade. Hello. Hello, Tade. Hello, Tade. I can't seem to get. Is he still with us?
I think Tad is having some challenges with his audio. Let's. We can come back. Yes.
Okay. In fact, I'm also struggling with my laptop. I don't know what's going on. So the next. Okay, I've seen it. If Tade is not there yet, he won in 2013 with the Sarah Testament. Maybe we'll skip him and we'll come back to him. Let me talk to my Nasara, Mr. Adeleke Adeyemi, because of course, I know Adeleke Adeyemi, who won with the missing clock in 2011, have been taking some very strategic steps about forming a collegiate of past winners of the. Maybe you'll be able to touch on that. Adeleke Adeyemi, Nasara, please. We'll get back to Tade.
Thank you. I'm going to step up to the plate, as the Americans say. Yes, so I most certainly agree with Jude, Idada, with Abubakar, and Prof, and Dr. Sojiko about how really crucial the LNG has been in stepping up to the challenge and how well they have, how well they've done. Of course, there are, well, like Prof has been, well, probably the most hard hitting on this. Well, I think, yeah, it's something, well, Yoruba called okukato, like, well, room for improvement. believe it's been said, that's the largest room in the world. Yeah, but I just wanted to share a story back in 2001 with the long list. So the thing with the long list is, like, I believe Dr. Sojiko mentioned, once you get on that list, well, it's kind of like the equals, right? So, but then there's someone at the head of that class who now gets picked to win as the winner of the prize, or jointly, as has happened before. 2011, when there was a long list, the first selection, I prevailed on everybody on that list to sign on an initiative, and that's separate from what German alluded to. The initiative was on what I concluded would amount to priming the pump. So priming the pump, of course, we're familiar with that expression, is taking action to help something succeed or grow. So priming the pump, how exactly? I prevailed on everybody in that short list to sign up to a letter that I came up with, to go to the Federal Ministry of Education to say, look, these are the books for this genre for this year that have been adjudged the best in the land by the people who know what they're talking about with story, with language. Every child, well, I think in terms of children, more often than not, every child should be given the advantage of these seminal outputs. When we booked an appointment with the minister in Abuja, then I believe it was the lady from Jigawa State. We got to Abuja and waiting for the minister. Once the minister saw, they assumed it was NLNG, that it was an NLNG or an official thing. So they agreed to it. Well, we just said we're long-listed writers, the NLNG prize. But once, because, well, I'm fluent in quite a few languages. Once the people at the ministry knew it wasn't really officially NLNG, that it was, well, just a bunch of writers, the minister wouldn't show up. The minister sent the Minister of State. I found out, but the Minister of State himself didn't want to show up, sent a DG, and the DG came and just verbose and nothing, non-committal and everything. We left. But then I also explored UBEC at that time, Universal Basic Education Commission, because before now I had raised this with NLNG, and well, they told me they kind of ambit that they had set out for themselves. Look, this is what we set out to do. Laudable, commendable. You cannot fault I do not fault NLNG, because there's only so much you can do. You really can't be all over the place. You can't take on all the problems in the world. You define your scope and you do it to the best of your abilities. And I am convinced NLNG has done that. But with publishing, which is a different bottle of soft drink, Zobo, whatever, that is not something that they set as an objective, part of the scope of work that they define for themselves to do with the price. But with distribution and readership, well, I know it's been said, oh, the reading culture is bad, blah, blah, blah. But it's, of course, I beg to differ. People eat whatever it is that they have available to them. which was one way I saw to feed. There's a hunger for mental stimulation as it is for physical, physical food. Getting, say, the ministry, because I remember as well back then on the radio, I engaged with someone from CORA about making a case for government, so probably through the Ministry of Education or UBEC, to actually, well, pick a figure. Every book on the long list, it is just about the will. It's nothing, this thing has never been anything to do with the resources. Get 1 million copies of each. I had people laugh, ha ha ha, almost like you must be joking here. But I know governments around the world do it. These are the best, and make sure they get to every local government. We have the infrastructure in place. We have the means of doing this, of getting this across, just so that children all over, just think about it, children all over, from Aguleri, from Akwa Ibom to Zululand to Zamfara, are reading the same stories. I think it's a big deal. I think it's a really big deal. And I think I'm speaking for the children of Nigeria. And I think when we do that, and how we have to figure a way to do that, that's when we're going to have a shared sense of national destiny, even identity. But we don't have something like that. I remember coming back, well, not so much crushed, but of course, just maddened. And so how come this is, it's a no-brainer to me. These are the best works for this genre or whatever genre it is, all the genres, to have well-formed people all over. If it's the Federation, this is something that the people in charge of education can come around to buy into, and they will shine themselves and all of that. And so that's my take. Definitely, I give kudos to the organizers of the Nigeria Prize for Literature, certainly, and well, science as well, which happens to be my background. German, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Adeleke. You had 4 minutes and you were 3 minutes, 47 seconds. Even so, some people were saying you were staying longer, but I think you are okay. Let me now go straight to, from Adeleke, we take Children Professor Akachi Adimora Esigbo, please. You have 4 minutes, but if you can do it in 3 minutes, we'll be lucky. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I think the speakers, my fellow laureates, have said a lot, and I don't want to repeat what they have said, especially as we don't have much time. So I will just look for 1 or 2 things that have not been said or that has not been expanded, and then talk about them. And one of them, I mean, they talked about publishing, writing, distribution. I agree with all that, especially what Professor Okala said. But I also want to talk about readership. That's where I want to make a contribution. A lot of people are not reading. That is a problem. You know, somebody said we have more poets than readers. We have more writers than readers, and I agree. You see, before you can write well, you have to read. That is one thing that many of us who are writing in Nigeria don't take into account. Many of us don't read. When I read that a man like Zuckerberg, the man who started Facebook, or even Ben Carson, the famous surgeon, when I heard that they read 1 book a week, you can imagine what that means. So what I want to advise us as writers and even ordinary people is to read. Sometimes we even complain that our politicians don't read. So readership is very important. Many books are published in Nigeria now. I mean, our literature is very healthy because there are so many people writing today. And one happy thing is that many people are writing well. A lot of people are writing well, both Nigerians in the country and those in the diaspora. It gives me so much joy to see new writers springing up. And I get many of their books all the time, and many of them are writing well. But there are many who are not writing well and who are not reading. We, as Professor Kala said, we experience this in the university. You find students of English who cannot make a sentence without, write a sentence without making grammatical mistakes. So this reading, there's nothing that improves your control of or mastery of a language, the medium of expression. If we are writing in English, or say we're even writing in our local languages, we have to be proficient in the languages we write. If I'm writing in English, I have to be proficient in English. And one way to gain proficiency in a language is to read in that language. So that's the point I want to make. Readership is very important. And sometimes we complain that Nigerians don't read. One other thing I can say is we need also to make books available to them. This is where I think the general public comes in. A lot of people have the money even to buy books and stock and distribute books to libraries. We need to establish more libraries where people who don't have money to buy books can go and borrow books. My experience of what happens in Europe, let me use Scotland, that where I'm very conversant with the situation in Scotland. A lot of people in Scotland don't buy books. If you go to their homes, you don't see many bookshelves or stocked with books, but they always go to the library. They borrow books from libraries. So the library, when you can't buy books yourself or you don't have space in your house to store books, you can go and borrow from the library. So developing our libraries, establishing libraries in schools, in communities is very important. Now, the future of Nigerian Prize for Literature, that's what I want to talk about next. Now, NLNG is doing very well and has done enough. Sometimes we expect too much of NLNG. When you compare NLNG with other prizes like the Pulitzer Prize or the Booker Prize, Orange Prize, and so many other prizes that are awarded overseas, they have a kind of, there's a limit to what they do as prize givers. I think that NLNG has even gone beyond that to do more. And I want to encourage them. I want to talk about the quality of books and then judging. I think that NLNG, the standard has been maintained over the years. We are grateful for those who started it, the judges, the initial judges. They maintained a standard that is very enviable. And I want to encourage NLNG to ensure that this standard is never allowed to slide. It must continue. All the judges, they must be very careful in selecting judges. They must also be very careful to ensure that excellence and diversity, what I mean by diversity is they are awarding prizes in 4 categories, 4 genres. That is very good. You see, some prize award givers just concentrate on fiction or poetry. But NLNG has done so well, and they are giving prizes in 4 categories. That is beautiful. So they should continue to maintain the standard, the judging standard, the standard of the people who are being put together to be judges. Let me stop here so that other people can say something here.
Well, thank you very much, Prof. The only one we missed, and it's back, Tade Padiola. You know the 2 questions, the general state of literature and then the advice for the NPL going forward. Before we get to Professor Ahmed Yerima, who will be the last speaker in this round. Tade Padiola, please. Hello, Tade. Hello, Tade. Hello, Tade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
All right. So I would say I may not be able to speak generally for all of Nigerian literature, but I can say something about the state of poetry in Nigeria in the last 10 years. I would say that I think, without a doubt, the scholars will agree that the Nigeria Prize for Literature has impacted the genre of poetry in very specific ways. You can now see more attention to craft and form as we practice poetry. We came from an era in which protest poetry was dominant, and that would not really place a demand as such on form. But I can say that knowing that there's so much at stake, as NLNG has done, a lot of poets have returned to paying attention to craft, form, discipline, and even as they pass across the message. So I think that the landscape has been impacted positively by the prize. I go outside the country from time to time to universities that offer MFA programs, especially in poetry. And in Iowa, which is probably the #1 MFA school in North America, the scholarship students, most of them happen to be Nigerians. I don't think it's an accident. I think it's a reflection of what is going on at home. Because we have some quality to offer, I think that's why these people can count on quality inputs from Nigeria. The way forward, we cannot say it enough that we need to teach people to read early. We need to teach people reading early. So I would say poetry is important, obviously. Drama is important, obviously. Prose is important, obviously. But we should pay attention to children's literature, because when you get the foundations right, every other thing falls in place. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Tade Padiola. Now I'm on race because I'm being harassed in the background. I am complaining, I'm being harassed, but I'll go on. Dr. Ahmed Yerima, please. He was the first winner. He was a winner in 2006 drama Hard Ground. Dr. Ahmed, Professor Ahmed Yerima now. Ahmed Yerima, please.
First, I want to thank you for this particular program, because I've been able to read a message sent by a friend of mine from 1991 ABU, Margaret Kassam. I pay my respects to you, Ma. God bless you, my dear. I now come to, I think I agree with almost everything that have been said. The only thing is I agree more with Professor Okala on the 3 shortlists. One, I have been a winner, I have been a runner-up, and I've been a judge in NLNG. And so it becomes easy for me to understand what it is. And I know that the winner takes all arrangement of NLNG is very exciting and intoxicating when you win it, but it's also very painful when you come so close to not winning it. And so I would ask and plead that they look at that. But most of all, I have always wondered about the Nigerian Prize for Literature. And I find that NLNG, even though it's a Nigerian government organization, has concentrated mainly on the funding of the program. In fact, I stole the what's it called, the catchword of Tasty Chicken. When the chickens say they do us well at Tasty Chicken, I said in my year in 2006, because I was being pampered left and right, I said they do us well at NLNG, and they really do us well, and kudos to them. But I think the Nigerian aspect of LNG has to actually be a major part. We are not that many. And I think the money prize comes and it goes, whether it's $20,000, whether it's $50,000, $100,000,
maybe 200,000, like one of us just said, or even 500,000, the money comes and goes. But I think for the future of NLNG and for people to take it seriously, Nigerians, the attention span is not very quick to go. And to hold them down, it must go beyond money. And so I want to ask that we look at the issue of NLNG from also the national award. We are only 12, 13, 14, or 15 or left. I think these people should get an OFR along with the prize money. And that will make it double. And that will now make people want to say, okay, there is a prize for Nigerian literature. And when you say I'm a Nigerian laureate, there is something which Nigeria has given to me to hold. Because when I look at those who win the OFR, I'm not knocking them down, with full respect, but I think most of us, or most of the Nigerian laureates today, have said more, have done a little bit more, a little bit to enhance Nigerian literature. And therefore, they must be rewarded. NLNG cannot fold their hands that all we have a mandate, we bring the money, we do that. You must take this prize further. And now people will start, you got 120, 200 people to apply. But once they know it's the money, they say somebody will win. We are not interested. I look at my glass marble and I say, oh, this reminds me that I won the NLNG. But I have to introduce myself, or people have to remember. Even the diary you used to send to me, I've not gotten it in 2 years. So I have nothing to proudly go to my department and collect and say, yes, I won a prize. And so I think this thing should be taken by NLNG seriously. Even if it is the first step. The Nollywood actors, they're also doing a great thing. But I think that you can almost equate them, with the efforts they do, with the efforts of the winners, the prize winners. Why Professor Akachi Ezegbo and Professor Samukala, those who encouraged me to write, they were using my books, why they cannot get OFR or MFR or whatever, I still do not understand. And so I think NLNG, this is one angle that you can use to get the future of the NLNG prize better enriched, more meaningful, and more gratifying to the winners. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Ahmed Yerima. Now I know why they were saying that I should wrap up. Honorable Yerima, please, off your mic. Off your mic. You. Calm down, calm down. No, I've been told to rush through this last bit where we're talking. Is it deliberate, Yemi and Philip, that you're asking me to rush them so that they won't talk about NLNG? We have to talk about NLNG. No, I'm speaking now as German and Nikolako, journalist, critic, and program chairman of CORA. You cannot rush us out of this. It's like you don't want to hear about what should be the future of NLNG. No, Yemi, please. No. Madam Sophia, please, no. NLNG has to move forward because it is the biggest prize on the continent. Nobody is challenging you and you don't want to hear. I have a feeling that you don't want to hear the truth. The truth is the statement that these writers have made in the last minute. I know that you have to go to work at 8 a.m. tomorrow, but the writers don't sleep. We write at night. Thank you very much, Yemi. You can take over. Since you didn't want us to discuss anyway.
Thank you very much, Jaman. Thank you. And thank you to the Lawrence for that
interesting I'm just saying what I want to say. I'm not angry.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you. At this point, we just would like to call on the Manager, Corporate Communication and Public Affairs, Dr. Sophia Osford, to please wrap up for us. Thank you. Over to you, Sophia. Sophia, are you? German, you okay?
Just confirming you can hear me.
Now we can hear you. We can see you.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, Yemi, and thank you, Jamar. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, what an afternoon or evening, dare I say. Let me start by, first of all, apologizing for the overrun in time of this event. It's not in our character to do so, but we can see we've gotten so much rich content, comments, advisories, and we're truly appreciative. The NLNG CORA Book Party, we can see that the interaction has really been very, very interesting, very elucidating. And it validates what Nigeria LNG seeks to bring to this country through the sponsorship of the Nigeria Prize for Literature, and that is literary excellence. And we've seen it firsthand this evening. Is it from the comments of Professor Sam Okala, who has actually romanticized literature and has said that the prize has really encouraged others to lift their game with respect to their art. Is it from Professor Akachi Adimara Ezegbo, who has now said that her own grandchildren are reading her works, and she's had some very, very insightful things to say about what we should be doing as an organization, even more to promote literature and literary appreciation? Or is it indeed Dr. Soji Cole, who gave such a passionate account of his drama therapy and his persistence in ensuring that he finally won the prize? A real kudos to you, and thank you for sharing what were very, very intense emotions indeed. Or is it Jude Idada, our current winner, who's had a long history, having been shortlisted several times over, who has really poured out his heart this evening and said what more we must do as a nation to look at the young and upcoming talents that need to be encouraged and who are really the talent for the future. The list goes on, and I dare say it has been time well spent. We must also remember that we have not let the restrictions of coronavirus pandemic imposed on what is our customary physical gathering. It hasn't stopped us from convening. And now we've had our first ever virtual book party. I'd like to commend the ingenuity of the organizers of this year's event, Jamal. Thank you so much for enabling this connect. Today's party, despite it being virtual, has fostered very healthy exchanges. And I'll correct any impression that we're trying to muzzle anyone here. Your comments, your advisories are very well appreciated. And we'll definitely go back to the drawing board and look at these nuggets of wisdom. It's really been heartwarming to see the numbers that connected today, the presence of the audience. Really, it's a reward for we, the conveners, and it's left us with that satisfaction that every effort that has been taken in putting in this event together, it's been worthwhile. For this, I say a big thank you. The Nigeria Prize for Literature, it continues to stimulate the production of quality works of literature among writers and publishers. And we appreciate that the CORA Book Party provides every stakeholder of the prize this great platform to having engaging conversations and sharing stories. We've heard many vivid stories this evening that add value to the aspirations of Nigeria LNG and indeed its prize. On behalf of my company, I therefore thank members of the Committee of Relevant Arts, CORA, for today's event and our excellent partnership to promote literature and writing in Nigeria. To our media friends who have doggedly supported the company's ambition in the last 15 years or more to use the prize to inspire and celebrate sterling works on poetry, prose, drama, and
That's it.
in the country. We say an immense thank you. Thank you for continuing to be reliable partners. I would also like finally to say thank you most of all to our winners, to our distinguished literary giants, and to publishers who zealously aspire to produce works of excellence, which they submit for this competition. It's incredible. It continues to be appreciated. It's worth mentioning here also that though the impacts of the COVID pandemic was significant in every dimension of national life, we have chosen to postpone this year's cycle to 2021, but we will keep you abreast of all the happenings with respect to improvements on the prize. This prize is going nowhere. It's here to stay. So again, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Please keep these conversations going, and we will continue to raise the standard of literature in this country and collectively stay committed to helping build a better Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sophia. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, note that the video recording of this party will be available online on YouTube. Please endeavor to find time to revisit and also fill the survey as you log out. Keep the feedback coming. Thank you. God bless and bye. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Bye.
The history of Nigeria literary world took a dynamic turn in 2003 when Nigeria LNG Limited came up with the initiative to encourage and support Nigerian writers by rewarding their rare talent and creativity with an award that was christened the Nigeria Prize for Literature. Rotating annually amongst 4 genres: drama, prose, poetry, and children's literature, the award was designed to bring Nigerian authors to limelight and celebrate their unique accomplishments in the literary space. In 2014, the Nigeria Prize for Literary Criticism was introduced to stimulate interest in the reading and appreciation of Nigerian literature and promote critical thinking. The prize is worth 1 million naira and has been won twice by Professor Isidore Diarra in 2014 and 2018, and Dr. Abba Abba in 2019. The Nigeria Prize for Literature is administered on behalf of Nigeria LNG Limited by an advisory board comprising notable Nigerian academics and writers. When Gabriel Okara and Ezenwa Oheto emerged the first joint winners of the prize in 2005, it became a great validation for Nigeria LNG's optimism that the prizes will not only serve to propel great minds to prefer answers to crucial societal issues in development, but also improve the quality of writing, editing, and publishing in the country's print industry. The prize, which started with a cash prize of $20,000 in 2005, is now worth a whopping $100,000 and has become not just the biggest literary award in Africa, but one of the richest literary awards in the world. Between 2005 till date, the Nigerian Prize for Literature has rewarded and celebrated great authors and poets like Dr. Ahmed Yerima, Professor Akachi Adimora Ezigbo, Mabel Shegun, Kane Agri, Dr. Esiaba Iwobi, May Nasara, Chika Unigwe, Tade Ikpadiola, Professor Sam Ukala, Abubakar Adam Ibrahim, Ikogu Oke, Dr. Sojiko, and Jude Idada. Nigeria LNG Limited remains committed to rewarding literary excellence as part of its vision of helping to build a better Nigeria.
I wake up, I see you as you leave. I feel it, I see it as you leave. When we kiss, I went deep, but you're far away. Be be my everything. Treated me like I was a queen. What spell did it cast on me? Or was it a make-believe? You say, girl, never be afraid of ever, ever loving me. Those words I hung on to. Oh God, I was a fool. You became my bad habit, keeping up appearances, so you could notice